Welcome back to Solving the World's Problems. In this video, I've journeyed up to Lake Tahoe in search of some elevated answers.
With your feet in the air, your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah. Your head will collapse, but there's nothing in it. And you ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
Jonathan Stein, hard worker, passionate, ambitious, productive, loving. That's me. I mean, obviously there's problems.
Most people are under the perception that the world has problems, unless they're very sheltered and well off. My name is Matt Lightheart. I really enjoy mountain biking, skiing, rock climbing, just kind of being outside, having fun. I like taking pictures.
I'm Ken Champlin. I'm an electrician.
My name is Brian Harasha, and kind of a plant nerd, kind of on a mission to, I guess, essentially feed the world or medicate the world with plants. There are definitely problems in the world that I choose not to look at. Yeah, so I wouldn't say there's actually problems. I think everything is the way it's supposed to be, and there's contrast. And one way to say the negative contrast is problems. But there's also the other side of it, which is the solutions to the problems, and that's what I look at.
We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of that negative contrast as it is perceived.
I mean, there's so many things like prison reform, obviously, big one, global warming, and then there's immigration issues, feeding the world.
We have a tiny fraction of people that are wealthier than they could potentially live on for the rest of their life, and then a massive amount of people that can't feed themselves or house themselves, so that's certainly a problem.
Seeing that there are people living at the top, and then there's also some people living in poverty.
Because it seems like a lot of people are turning callous and tend to neglect people that might be in need.
The Black Lives Matter movement.
BLM movement.
When people say Black Lives Matter, we're not saying Black lives are the only lives that matter. When we say save the whales, we're not saying fuck every other fish.
And the whole COVID movement. What are you going to do for your population to help your population? I mean, it has biology backed by it, and you can't really fight the science behind it. I'm down in San Diego right now. Everyone's trying to get vaccinated. And then I come up to Carson City, and people there, you can go get vaccinated right now at this moment because people don't want to get it.
There's a lot of people kind of getting steered in the wrong direction, and it's mainly for profits.
I would say there is a great divide between people that I would say are trying to turn a shoulder to what is going on, and people that are trying to acknowledge it head on.
Yeah, so that's tough. You don't really get to get people to work together. That's one of the biggest problems that we have right now. I mean, politics right now are very divisive.
I think there are a ton of people in the world that don't believe that there's anything wrong, or the things that they think wrong aren't really the things that are wrong. And if you have no idea what it is that we all need to work towards to change, then there's no chance whatsoever.
You know, sacrificing ourselves for other people is maybe a short-term thing, but in the end, it degrades our own value. The suffering for somebody else seems like a good, thing to do, but in theory, I think that if everybody just focused on themselves, we would be in a better spot. But not a greedy self, right? Just finding the things, fulfilling your passions and feeling the best you can feel all the time.
I think we've kind of built ourselves into a bit of a house of cards here. We can't stop or else it's gonna collapse.
I was swimming in the Caribbean, animals hiding behind the rocks, yeah. Except the little fish, but they told me swears, trying to talk to me coy. Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
And now the main question.
What would it take to solve the world's problems? That's the million-dollar question. Stop living.
I think that's pretty simple, but not.
I think to solve the world problems, I think it would just come down to a basis of like seeing humanity for itself eye to eye and the well-being of humanity, not being selfish.
Try and convince people to work together.
We have to be selfish in a way so that collectively we're all helping each other. So, you know, some people might say, oh, you're being selfish doing your own thing. Well, yeah, you have to be selfish. So that, because if you're not your best self, you're not going to be able to give the most to everybody else.
If someone has a different view than you do, you can't just cancel them out. You got to be willing to understand their point of view and try to educate them on what you see, and then also let them educate you on what their perspective of life.
I am a believer that first step of change is awareness.
You got to have a good positive perspective of what's going on.
But we really need to just follow our passions, and in that way we're giving back to the planet. We're going to heal the planet, heal the society if we all just focus on what we're good at and find the most joy, peace, gratitude, all of that, in not going and forcing ourselves to do something for greed or for trading time for money or whatever. I think we just have to follow what we're doing. If everybody did that, all of these problems would be solved.
There needs to be a lot more honesty and maybe practicing a little bit more empathy.
I think it's important that we just start small, start by getting everybody on the same page and believing that there are things that actually do need to change. And what would be helpful for me is for some other smarter person out there than me to tell me the little things that I can do, my low income, just scraping by self. What can I do feasibly that would actually make an impact if, on a macro scale, everybody were helping as well?
Well, here's an idea. If everyone in the world supported this video project with an answer to solving the world's problems, plus just $1, then there would be roughly $8 billion collected, plus all the answers. That $8 billion would then be applied towards solving the world's problems.
It's collective. It's all collective. The currency isn't money. Currency is the feelings that we go through every day. And so if we're chasing good feelings, not like drugs and stuff, but like just good feeling thoughts and feelings and emotions all the time, and knowing when you're feeling negative emotions, to get away from that and focus on the positive feelings, and you attract that kind of energy.
In the water, see it swimming.
I'm going to go ahead and end this video here and resume in the next with a few more Tahoe residents. Stay tuned for part 2 of Lake Tahoe.